Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Ready. Today I'm going to show you the select function of tidyverse. Select and then mutate columns of tidyverse. First, let's load the library. One is tidyverse. Of course, we will use it almost every time. And the other one is car data, which is a political data sets. As I have mentioned, we don't need to install it. But if you happen to use a new computer, so you might need to install it. But if you have installed once, you don't need to install anymore, but you have to load it every time. So let's first review the row tidying. First one is distinct. I'm not sure if I have mentioned this before, but yeah, the distinct function is to find the with every variable the distinct values. For example, we use this one to distinct distinct age, distinct vote. I haven't yeah, haven't loaded it. Okay. Yes, there's only 3 variables. Others are just this repeat, this labels, repeat. Distinct. And we can filter rows like this. With all the labor parties is labors. And vote filter the labor party and the conservative party. Notice that we can use this this sign, but we haven't covered last time. But this one is just the same as this one. So vote is equals to or vote equals to. So this one is the same. But we have to notice that we have to use this vote equals to and the vote all vote equals to. We cannot just say vote equals to labor or conservative. That does not work. Yeah, we got it. Error. This does not work either. Yeah, so we have to use that. Yeah, like this. This or this. If there's a long list, none or if, for example, vote equals to that case, it might be looks tedious. So we'd better use this one if there's a lot of choices. We can also use vote is not neighbor party. This but is not neighbor, so just a liberal and conservative. And we can arrange. For example, we want to have the arrange from high to low. Yes, from high to low. And arrange gender. Gender. Yes, from female to male. Because this is factorial variable. So this is orange name. This is same. For example, this one, we use another database. It's a Star Wars. Star Wars is a tidyverse in the tidyverse. So we use this one. This works, but this does not work as we have showed it. So in this case, we have to use this one. Yeah, so this one will goes from like this. Okay, let's go to the select column. Use column ones. First, we use select vote, age, gender. We just choose vote, age, and gender, the last column. We drop any other variables, just these three. And we can change the name if we want to change any name of the variable. So we can just use this one. Here is the new name and equals to the old name, new name, old name, new name, old name. See, we got the new name. This is a capital B, capital A, capital G. But here is lowercase v, lowercase a, lowercase g. And we can also change the order. Here is vote, age, gender. Now we want to put the age in the first column. So we first select age, then choose select vote, then choose select gender. So the age goes as the first column. Here's vote goes age goes after vote. Here, age goes before vote. And if we only want to change the age, change the age order to the first, and we only want to put age before vote, and any other variables keep the same order. We can use this one, age, then everything else. So this age, then any other keeps it the same order. We can also use the numbers to choose. The 3.5 semicolon. This one is semicolon on column. So this three. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to 3, 4, 5. So use this. So only 3 columns here. But also we can use just choose 3 and 5 without the second one. So it goes like this. Yes, just the second, this third one, economic national. Yeah, the third one is economic national, and the 5th layer. And we can also choose by names with, for example, for some variables share the same names. Here, they share the economic, so we can choose the start with economic. So we only selected the second, the 2 variables share the same prefix. Also, we can select ends with, for example, ends with letter E. For this is E, 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 and so on. So yeah, every variable is end with E. Every variable name end with E. Okay, we can negative select this -3, -5, which means we do not select the 3rd column and the 5th column. So there's no the 3rd column national directly goes to household, and the 5th one player, there's no player. Yeah, there's no player. Okay, that's the select column. Let's go to the mutate. Mutate is which means we want to create a new column or create new variables. In this case, we create a new variable with name as economic, because there are 2 economic, is a national and household. So we add these 2 together and give a new name as economic. So by default, the new one will become the last variable here. But if this does not look good, because we have to go to the next column. If there are a lot of variables, for example, hundreds of variables, that's very inconvenient. So we have a solution. So to put the variable to the before this one. So with here we add an argument called dot before the economic condition national. So this new variable goes before this one. Of course, we can also choose after. We choose after this one. So after this one, we have the economic. But sometimes we just only want to keep the related ones. So we have a solution we change the as the dot keep is true. Okay, I got it. Oh, I just made a mistake. It's not dot capo equals to true. It's equals to used. So we use this one. We got, so we just keep the 3 columns. One is a new column here. New column, new created column. And the other 2 is used. This one is used, this one is used. So we keep this. So it's more convenient. Okay. So let's go on to create a female variable, which we use if else. The if else, which means we give the conditions. If it meets the condition is gender is equal to male. If it meets the condition, we assign it the first value. In this case is 0. If it's not male, then we give the value 1. So yeah, if the gender is male, gives the value 0. If not male, gives the value 1. Because we give the we call the female, the variable name is female, so we should assign 1 to female and 0 to male. That makes sense. If here we use male, if here we use male, then we should become this one. Yeah. So to be aware that this should be a meaningful variable name. Also, if there are more than 1 condition, so we can repeat the if else. So the first one is if gender is male, then gives a 0. If the female, we give 1. And we also create another one, is age span. If age is less than 35, we assign it's young. Then other above the 35 years old, we give another condition. If it's 35, it's less than younger than 55, we give the value middle, and otherwise we give the value old, and we put the two new variable before age. See here, female becomes 1 or 0, and age span becomes middle, young, or old. So this one is old because it's greater than 55. This one is less than 55. So notice here we don't need to use the age, and age is greater than 35. If you use this, that's fine. You will get the same outcome. So we don't need to use this because R is smart enough. It knows that. Okay. Also, do you still remember that we practice the sample functions? Here we create a new variable, which is education. We don't know the education level, so we just randomly assign a name, assign value, which is the minimum one is 7 years old, 7 years education. The maximum is 20 years, 20 years education, and the size is 1,525 because here is 1,525 observations, and replace equals to true because from 7 to 20 20, there's only 14 values. So we have to replace equals to true and put the new variable before the age. Yeah, we randomly give the years. Okay. And yeah, this one we have covered it. Okay, now we go to the new section to group. Yes, group and summarize. We use group to know the different groups numbers. For example, we use n parentheses to count of each group, and we use mean age. We have covered that before, mean age, so it gets the average age for each group. Yeah, so there are three things. And we can group by two variables, so vote and the gender. Notice that they are recognized both British and American English. So use here we use ISC and here we use IZE, and both works. Yes, this one is only 3 groups, but we added gender, it becomes 6 groups because each vote groups there are female and male groups. And we can also choose the find oldest 3 voters in each group. Use the slice max function. So each group we find the oldest 3, oldest 3, oldest 3. And we can also slice minimum, so we can find the youngest 5. Notice that in this case, they only keep the first 5. If there's a 6, 5, the 6th one is also 25, they will not keep it because they only keep 5. But we can also use with ties equals to true. Then here is the 16 observations. Oh, there is 16 rows. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here are the 6. Yeah, there are 6. Okay, it already kept the so the default is with ties equals to true. Yeah, but if we use the force, so it only kept the 5. The first 5 becomes 15. So the 6th one is also 26 years old, but because with ties we choose force, so we drop the same value, Also, we can slice sample. Slice sample means we randomly select 100 rows. Yeah, 100 rows. Of course, we can choose to 70. Yeah, 70. That's 2. Okay, because this is randomly, so each time you notice here is 1183. We run it again, it becomes 536. It's each time it will be different. If in some cases we want to get a same outcome, so we can use this one, set. So each time we get the same outcome. So if we run, it's a 197. We run again, still 197. But if we don't run this, it will change. So if we want to get the same outcome, we must run this code before this code. So you get the idea. And we can also, here we choose 100, but we can also choose 1/3 of the. So the total is the total observation is 1,525. So we choose 1/3 of the observation. It's 108 rows. Okay, that's it. And we also have some homeworks you can practice. Yes, there are. As usual, each lesson we have homework, so practice makes perfect. So you just practice to these homeworks. All the code has been covered in the slides. So you go to the slides, find the code, and do the practice. Okay, thank you. I'll put the slides down below, and if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave a message below. And thanks for watching. See you next time.